right, everyone. Welcome back to the corner. We had a very, very disappointing week for the Bears. We lost against the Saints, which, let's be honest, we all knew was going to happen. They lost in pitiful fashion. They didn't muster up like a touchdown until the last second of the game, like literally the last second of the game. Jimmy Graham, again, the ghost of Jimmy Graham, who we thought was going to be a bum, actually had a pretty good year. With that one-handed touchdown catch, and he just ran off the field into the tunnel because he knew it was over. He didn't care anymore. He's like, I'm out of here. It's over. All right, so we're heading the offseason with the Bears, and we've had a lot. We're not going to go into it in this pod. I know Jimmy and I have been talking about this constantly this week. We are going to probably save another pod for just the Bears because it was awful this week. It's just been terrible. But let's talk about the game the Bears did play, if you want to call it that. We had an ejection again. So we got to talk about that. But what were your key takeaways from the last game of the season for Mitch Trubisky and company?
R.I.P. I mean, they talked all week of we have nothing to lose. Apparently they had nothing to gain either because they didn't do anything, like you said, besides that last second touchdown to Jimmy Graham, which won me some money because I took Bears plus 17.5, so that was nice.
Mm-hmm.
Short of that, I mean, it was just a whole lot of nothing. I mean, I understand like the defense had, 4 starters out, but the offense didn't do anything, just like always. And I don't know, I don't think Mitch would have been able, I don't think they would have brought Mitch back anyway, but to know going into that game, hey, this is my last probably chance of being a starter in the league, and that that's the performance he gives. I mean, there's nobody missing on the offensive side, and they just couldn't do anything.
Well, Darnell Mooney was gone, and I mean,
Yeah.
granted, it's not like Allen Robinson was gone, but and then the showing you had from the wide receivers, Javon Wims with the worst missed catch, I think, probably one of the worst missed catches I've ever seen in my life, outside of like a high school team missing a catch who, okay, they're in high school. This is a professional football player. He had it in his hands, a gimme touchdown that would have made the game a lot closer at that point because there's only 7-0 at that point, and he drops it after making a great catch out of bounds. Like, it was incredible. He had this awesome catch, then he just completely whiffs and drops it. And then you had Anthony Miller, and I don't know what this defensive back is doing to these guys. He's getting under their skin in some kind of way. You got Anthony Miller shoving him in the head, getting ejected when we're already down Darnell Mooney. So now you took away another wide receiver, not that he's doing anything anyway. But Javon Wims and Anthony Miller are two. The guy was Gardner Johnson, I think his last name is, or something like that.
Yeah.
He said he was barking at Miller. You're 2 for 22 yards. You got nothing on me. And apparently there's something else said that Anthony didn't like, and he shoved him in the face and was ejected. So when you're down one wide receiver because of injury, and then you're down another wide receiver because he's an idiot, it doesn't help the game. The running game was non-existent. But I can say this, the Saints really didn't do a whole lot to impress me either. I mean, we were thinking they were going to beat the Bears by like 30 points. I mean, they barely scored 21 points. It was pretty hard to believe that they only scored 21 points, and they're going against Tampa Bay this week, which is a fully ready-to-go team, and we were down some defensive and offensive players. So we'll get to that game in a minute here. But let's talk about the other games. So we had the Seahawks lose to the Rams, which the Seahawks were on a tailspin the whole rest of the season after like week 10. And I can't say I'm surprised this happened, but we had our DK train go off the rails this week, and he's not coming back on until next year. So we got to wait a whole nother year for that. We had the Washington football team. Tampa Bay beat them. No surprise there. The Bills kept rolling. They beat the Ravens. That was a good game, but the Bills eventually won. Or not the Ravens. They who'd they play? Colts. The Colts. They played the Colts. And possibly Phillip Rivers' last game as a Colt, at least for this year. Maybe he'll go back next year. We'll see. And the Ravens beat the Titans, holding Derrick Henry to 40 yards. I was watching our last week's video, and that old 1930s running game did not happen this week. It was pretty much just a passing game. But is there anything from this week that you want to recap that kind of stuck out to you from those games? Then we'll get to the other game that was the big surprise.
I mean, just to touch back on the Wims Miller Bears debacle. I mean, so they came out and they said they specifically played them the video of Javon Wims punching him last time, they made it a point to literally show the same video and say, this guy, don't go anywhere near him because he's going to mess with you. And then, yeah, like I don't know if I've ever heard that before, where they literally sit you down, watch the video, and say, "Hey, look what he's doing. Don't even mess with him. Oh, I got you, coach." And then, like you said, and then he goes and he fights him, So he's 2 for 2. So anyway, enough of those guys. Yeah, I mean the Seahawks, like you said, they haven't looked good for at least the last 5, 6, 7 games. I mean, it started out good, but it started out good because it had to, because that defense couldn't stop anybody. Russ had to, be Superman every single week, and to lose to the backup for the Rams, and then Jared Goff with he just had surgery on his thumb.
His throwing thumb.
Like we talked about their defense being the Rams' defense being great, but you would think like they could have done something. Tampa Bay, it is what it is. I mean, everybody knew that was going to be a win. I mean, Washington did a pretty good job of keeping it together. And that Ravens-Titans game, yeah, I would have thought everyone said that the Ravens is who the Titans wanted. They have no run game, or they can't stop the run, and they did a pretty damn good job.
Yeah, they bottled up Derrick Henry pretty much every time he touched the ball. So I don't know if maybe they just said we're going to stack the box and you're going to have to beat us. That's what they did. They stacked the box and they said, Ryan Tannehill, you're going to have to beat us with your arm. You're not going to let Derrick Henry beat us. That's basically what they said. All right, so let's move on to the big surprise, and this was Jimmy and I were talking to each other through this almost this entire game because it was just we couldn't believe what we were watching. The Cleveland Browns, who I'm obviously repping tonight, they start. Ben Roethlisberger got the ball first, and we're like, okay, we're going to drive down the field, see what happens. Literally, the ball snapped about 4 feet over his head, all the way back to the end zone. Cleveland Browns touchdown, 7-0. I think that took all of 6 seconds of the first quarter. And they were up 7-0. So then they get the ball back, throws an interception. They score a touchdown. Comes back up, throws an interception, scores another touchdown. Before the first quarter was over, it was 28-0. And I think everybody at home had their jaw on the floor because it's the Browns. The Browns are supposed to do what the Browns do. They're supposed to choke and not do good. They came out firing against the Steelers, and they ended up winning. It was a lot closer, though. It was 48-37, mostly in part because Big Ben had to throw the ball 66 times, I think, or something like that for 500 yards. But it was definitely, at the end of the game, they showed Marquise Pouncey and Ben sitting down talking to each other, and they both were very upset because he's been his center for 10 years, and it could be the end run for him. And who knows what Ben's going to do. He could retire next year. I don't think he's going to. He's got one more year. I think he's going to want to try to prove something, especially after going out like that. But you could just tell that it really beat them up. That's how they went out. And it was kind of sad, but, it is what it is. Football. Some teams got to win. Some teams got to lose. What did we think of that game as far as what you saw out of the Browns? We'll go from that side because they clearly were the better team that night.
Yeah, I mean, I think it kind of goes back to that week 17, when they eked out a win versus Mason Rudolph. Basically, everybody, and I'm sure probably people in their own building, kind of wrote him off. Said, hey, we barely beat Mason Rudolph. Big Ben's back. It is what it is. Let's celebrate that we even made it to the playoffs. And then, like you said, it was a buzzsaw. I mean, Pittsburgh, I don't know if I've ever seen Pittsburgh get demolished like that so early. Like you said, it ended up being a close game towards the end, so I'm sure even all the Browns fans were, gnawing at their fingernails, like, here we go, don't do it to me, please don't do it to me. But yeah, the Steelers could not do anything against them. I mean, the Browns secondary is beat up too. They're missing. Yeah. Denzel Ward was out.
Yep.
Delpit has been out like all year. So, I mean, they had opportunities to do some matchups, and they just, I mean, once you get down 28-0, it's kind of, the playbook is out the window and it's just fly routes from there. Yeah. But
chuck it football.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you had the Cleveland Browns had their starting left guard out with COVID, as well as Kevin Stefanski, the head coach, who's supposedly supposed to be the play caller, I don't know who's calling plays that game, but they better call the next game because they were doing a great job. I mean, there was nothing they could do. I mean, Jarvis Landry ran crazy. Chubb and Hunt had awesome games. I mean, it seemed like everything was clicking for him. And then you had the backup guard go down. So then they brought in another guard who literally walked into the facility that day and met Baker Mayfield an hour before the game. And was like, hey, I'm here if you need me. Well, they needed him. I think he played 14 snaps, and they never touched Baker Mayfield that whole game. I don't think he got sacked once. So that offensive line did a hell of a job protecting him against a tough Steelers defense. It's not an easy defense to play, especially with T.J. Watt up front, wreaking havoc if he wants to. So it was a tough game, a good game. But let's see what you had to say here. What do you got to talk about here? The trick play. Oh, that's about the whole Wims thing. I don't even want to bring that up anymore. We could talk about our new number one favorite quarterback in the league if you'd like. You want to go ahead and talk about our boy from Washington?
Yeah, so I mean, it's really disgusting to think like we couldn't even find. We had to trade for Nick Foles, the Bears, and it did not work out. Trubisky didn't work out, and you got the new god in Washington. He's literally the fourth stringer, and he had an amazing game. I mean, it wasn't throwing 300-400 yards, but I mean, he had a damn good game against a really tough defense on short notice. And I mean, I don't know what they're going to do in Washington for quarterback. I mean, Alex Smith is 38 or something like that, so they'll probably bring him back. But I mean, I don't know. Like, I think he made himself some money.
Absolutely.
Whether it's just a backup job or whatever, he made himself some money.
And I don't know what his contract looks like if he's under contract for the next year or two, or if he's a free agent next year. I mean, I'd kick the tires on him for a 1-year deal or a 2-year deal as a backup or a third stringer on
I
our
think
team.
he's a restricted free agent because they signed him off the practice squad.
Well, he's going to have a nice hefty payday this year, at least you'd think, based on that. Yeah, it was just bad. So let's bringing that up. So let's do a quarterback challenge here, okay? So in my right hand, I've got quarterback A, who threw the ball 44 times. He was 26 of 44 for 306 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. In my other hand, I have quarterback B. He threw 19 of 29 for 199 yards and 1 touchdown. Who's quarterback A?
I don't know who quarterback A is. I know who quarterback B is.
Yeah, you know quarterback B. Quarterback A is Taylor Hinkie, the guy, or Taylor Hinkie, the quarterback from Washington. So your 4th-string quarterback threw 306 yards against a Tampa Bay defense with 1 touchdown and 1 pick. And I think he also had like 50 or 60 rushing yards too.
Yeah.
The kid could move. Quarterback B, who's quarterback B?
It's the GOAT, Mitch.
Yeah, the GOAT. Never going to play in Chicago again. He's gone. And everything we're reading today is saying that Mitch is gone because he went against the culture. No, gosh, no. Mitch is not gone because he went against the culture. Mitch is gone because he sucked as a quarterback. That's plain and simple. You can't throw the ball more than 15 yards accurately. You ain't going to play in the league for very long. So we'll all be eating our words next year when he goes to the Patriots and wins the Super Bowl.
Yeah, right.
All right, so if we get down to our divisional round picks here, I went 2-2. Anyone who decided to pick up Cleveland at plus 5.5, you're welcome. They didn't need it, but they had it. And then I just barely missed on Baker Mayfield again. I told you guys I'm going to pick him. He's going to screw me. I needed him to throw 37 more yards, and I would have won my sleeper pick. He went 263 and 3 touchdowns. I had him for 302. So thanks, Baker. And Jimmy, who'd you have for your sleeper this week?
Oh, I don't remember.
Last week, who was it?
Remember.
I think it was Mitchell Trubisky, 250 and 2 tutters. Didn't quite make it.
Almost, baby, almost.
So this week we have in the divisional round, the early game on Saturday is Green Bay versus the Rams, which I was kind of surprised at. I figured because they were the number 1 seed, they'd be like a primetime slot. They get to play at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I mean, maybe it's because they don't want the Rams to freeze to death at night, but Green Bay is a heavy favorite at -7. I am picking Green Bay in that game just because I think they're going to go to the Super Bowl. So I'm going with Green Bay.
Yeah, I'm going to take Green Bay in the points for my first pick. The Rams, defense is amazing, but I don't think that offense is going to be able to do much against Packers defense.
No, and I agree with you. It could be. I have this game picked at being like 35-28, where it could end up being like kind of a little mini shootout. But I really think it's going to be more of a 21-10 game probably for the Packers. They're going to probably hold off just well enough, and I don't think they're going to be able to do anything with the Rams. Aren't going to be able to do anything on offense at least.
21-9 maybe.
21-9. Oh, that sounds familiar. Stupid Bears. Next game is Baltimore versus Buffalo. Buffalo right now is a 2.5-point favorite, and this line's been kind of jumping around a lot. It's gone from 1.5 to 2 points to 2.5 points. It's kind of been jumping around. I'm taking Baltimore in the points. I'm taking 2.5 points with them. That's my first pick. I think that they could probably win this game. I mean, they really could if Lamar Jackson has a good game and is solid. Buffalo is another one of our dark horse picks to go to the Super Bowl because we love Josh Allen. But I think Baltimore might be able to pull this off at plus 2.5.
Yeah, I'm going to take Buffalo. I think, I mean, Baltimore did some work against the Titans, but Titans don't have that Bills defense. I think they're gonna shut down the passing game, and then not that it really hurts them, but make Lamar Jackson beat him on the ground. And I think they have enough big guys up front that they can stop him too.
Okay. The next game is Cleveland versus Kansas City. Now this one kind of surprised me. Kansas City's a 10-point favorite right now. I don't think they've won a game by 10 points almost all year against really anybody, and then you just saw what Cleveland did to the Steelers. So it's kind of a head scratcher as to why they've picked Kansas City so high. I mean, I know it's Patrick Mahomes and their offense is awesome, but Cleveland is not a slouch defense by any means. So this is kind of a head scratcher. I mean, I'm picking Kansas City to win, but 10 points is awful tempting.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm actually going to take that. I'm going to change my pick.
Oh, you changed it.
So I'm going Cleveland plus 10. Like I said, I mean, Kansas City has not been blowing anybody out all year. I don't think, like you said, they've beat anybody by 10 or more. I know you only need one more point to win, but 10, especially with the Browns coming off that high they're riding right now.
Oh yeah.
I just don't think they can do it.
Yeah, that's a good pick. It's a good solid pick, and I think you're probably going to win that one. Or knowing our luck, knowing your luck, it'll be Kansas City 63, Browns.
Yeah, exactly.
2 field goals, and no one did anything. Then the next game and the last game is Tampa Bay versus New Orleans in the History Channel Bowl, as I'm calling it. Tampa Bay or New Orleans is a -3 favorite right now. They're given 3 points. I'm taking Tampa Bay plus the 3. I think they're going to win outright. I think Tom Brady is hard to bet against, so I'm taking Tampa Bay plus the 3.
Yeah, so this was going to be my pick, but like I said, we just changed it to Cleveland plus 10. I actually like the Saints in this. Saints have been I don't know if they're 2-0 versus them in division or 1-1, but that Tampa Bay team just something is off with it to me. They don't seem to be, I don't know, cohesive yet. I don't know. I mean, they still have a lot of weapons, and you got Tom Brady, so it's never, you're never out of it.
No.
I just think Kamara and Drew Brees should be able to carve up that defense.
Well, I mean, you'd think they were going to do that to us last week, and they really didn't. I mean, Kamara didn't have 100 yards rushing. He didn't have 6 touchdowns like he did against the Vikings. So, I really think Tampa Bay is going to win this game. That's just me. Again, hard to bet against Tom Brady. He's the GOAT for a reason.
New Orleans was just taking it easy on us. That's all.
Yeah,
I felt sorry for us.
Yeah, okay.
I feel sorry for Pace.
No. All right. The divisional sleeper. So this is our sleeper pick for this week. I am taking the Rams defense will score a touchdown. After the last 2 games, they've looked really, really good. I think they're going to score, a pick 6 or a fumble recovery. So I'm going with the Rams scoring a touchdown on defense.
Yeah, I mean, I like that. I don't know about the pick 6, though. I mean, what would we say? Rodgers has only 5 interceptions all year.
He's due.
He's due.
Yeah,
I guess.
One. He's due to throw one.
Mine, since we're going defense, I'm going to go TB12 is going to throw a pick and lose to the Saints.
Ooh, that is a double pick. You're picking that he's going to throw a pick and the whole team's going to lose.
Yep.
You're playing with fire, my friend.
I think he's thrown at least 1 pick in both games versus them this year.
Then he's probably going to throw one again. Maybe. We'll see. Let's hope. All I need to do to win that is have him not throw a pick. I don't care if they lose.
Exactly, right.
All right, so we're going to get to our spicy hot take of the week right now, and this one's super spicy, folks. I'm going crazy here. This is going to be – you're never going to believe this. You thought Theo Epstein was crazy? This is going to be even crazier. My spicy hot take, and this is after Urban Meyer has now become the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Justin Fields will be the number one pick this year. I've said it. He's an Ohio State guy. Urban Meyer was an Ohio State guy. He coached there last. I'm sure he loves Justin Fields based on what he's seen. Trevor Lawrence, you're going number 2. Don't worry about it. You're going to go to the Jets anyway.
Yeah, that is super spicy. That's
so spicy.
I get it, but I don't think that's happening. Because there's talks of the Jets not taking a quarterback at all, which segues perfectly into my spicy hot take. The new starting quarterback for the Bears for the 2021-22 season will be Sam Darnold.
Oh,
spicy!
Get ready. Robert Saleh's in New York now, so he's going to get Justin Fields at 2. They're going to give up a 3 and a 5 for Sammy D.
I hate that.
Get ready. Get ready.
I'm not going to lie. I absolutely hate that hot take. I would if number 14 comes to town and he's the starting quarterback and Nick Foles is the backup again. Oh my God. I really hope not. But
here's the thing. I hate it too. It's not something that I'm really looking forward to. I just think it's going to happen.
Well,
and the other options are,
Slim.
Watson and Dak. Watson and Dak, they're way too expensive.
Oh yeah.
And then it's just picking up garbage.
Well,
and Sammy D's garbage too. So I guess.
So we can talk a little bit. We got a little bit of time here. We can talk a little bit about the coaching carousel and also some players here. So we know what we just said. Urban Meyer has now agreed to be the head coach in Jacksonville. So this is his first time. I think his first time coaching the NFL as a head coach at least.
Mm-hmm.
So he's gonna be in Jacksonville. Robert Saleh just went to the Jets, which God help you, Robert. I loved watching you on the sideline get all fired up, but you're going to be fired up for a completely different reason now, and I don't think you're going to like it. Bill O'Brien, our boy Billy O'Brien, is going down to Bama to be the new offensive coordinator with Nick Saban. So hope you had a good year. You had a good run, Nick Saban, but it's going to end next year. Who else we have? Nick Saban. Sark's going to Texas, and who's he taking with him as the OC there?
Look on, baby. He's taking the whole damn Alabama team. He took the O-line coach. He took the passing game coordinator. And I thought I saw he even took the strength guy.
Man, I tell you what, if they get a good crop of recruits down there, they could be tough.
They won't.
That'd be yeah.
They won't. I've been a Texas fan for at least 20 years, and they always have their pick whoever they want in the state, and they always choose wrong.
Yeah, and Texas
they haven't had a quarterback since Vince Young. I mean, Colt McCoy, but
yeah, Texas is a football state, and to not be able to get your own crop, that's kind of like Illinois being a basketball state, and everyone goes anywhere but Illinois. Chicago, no one wants to go to U of I. They all want to go to other places. So, well, let's have a good weekend again. Hopefully we can get some more news out of the Bears that's positive. I mean, they're not firing anyone, so we're kind of stuck now. But everyone have a good weekend. Enjoy the games. Go Browns. Beat Kansas City, even though Kansas City's probably going to win. But go Brownies. Go Baker. Like and subscribe to our channel down below. Find us on Facebook at BJ's Fantasy Corner. Find us on Twitter at BJ's Fantasy Corner. And everyone stay safe out there and have a good night.